My first doctorate's in Greek and Hebrew. Nobody's asked me to be their rabbi. My second one's in urban and public administration. Nobody's asked me to be their mayor. So educationally, I'm an abject failure. My success is I managed to get all those degrees, go to college for 22 years, and pay for one semester.
Welcome to the Next Level Income Show, where it's our goal to take your income, your investments, and your life to the next level. I'm your host, Chris Larson. If you haven't yet, get a copy of our book for free at our website, nextlevelincome.com. That's www.nextlevelincome.com. Just click on the book link, and I'll even send you a copy if you put your address in. On today's show, we have Dr. Kuni Beasley. For over 40 years, Dr. Beasley has been helping students reach their college goals. Since 2011, Dr. Beasley and his team have helped students earn over $300 million in scholarships and grants, with students admitted to the top institutions in the country, to include the Ivy League, that we're going to tell you who they are today, the service academies, including West Point, Annapolis, and Navy, etc. Also, top-tier colleges like MIT, Stanford, and Duke. His SAT and ACT prep program has been used in public and private schools in over 20 states. Dr. Beasley was also the dean of the New College Preparatory Academy, with 22 sites across the country, from Springfield, Massachusetts, all the way to Palm Springs, California. Dr. Beasley has a BS from Texas Christian University, an MBA from Oklahoma City University, a Doctor of Ministry from Tyndale Seminary, and a Ph.D. from the University of Texas at Arlington. He went to college 22 years, and get this, he only paid for one semester. We're going to tell you how on today's show. Kuni, welcome to the show.
Greetings, Chris. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you again. I'm really excited because, we're going to be talking today about a topic that I know a lot of people are not only interested in, but there's a lot of people that are confused these days by college. And I'm hoping that this conversation can help shed the light not only on, the decision of college and, does it even make sense anymore, which we'll kind of tackle a little bit, but also what resources are out there today. And I'm excited for you to share a little bit about what you do, but perhaps you could also share with the audience a little bit more about your background and what you've been up to for the past 4 decades.
Well, let's see. Educationally, I've got my bachelor's degree from Texas Christian University. Recently, that's kind of had a a bummer experience, losing the national championship game, losing a football game this last weekend. Got my master's degree from Oklahoma City University. I did that in 50 weeks, some kind of record. Did that while I was on active duty in the Army. Went to school at night, doubled. I did this with 7 other guys, all getting ready to leave active service, and so we needed to pack an MBA in there to be more attractive in the civilian world. My first doctorate is in Greek and Hebrew from Tyndale Seminary, and then my Ph.D. is from University of Texas at Arlington in urban and public administration. I actually did both of those simultaneously. Okay, I started my PhD, and then when I got to the dissertation phase, I went to seminary because I got tired of arguing with preachers and pastors. So I did the seminary. I was finishing up my dissertation, finished seminary, and then finished up my dissertation. So,
incredible.
Some people go home and watch TV. I went to class.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, always learning, and that's that's what's kind of wild about the world today is we didn't have this forum when you and I were in college the first time that we have now, and there's so many ways that people can continue their education. Share a little bit of so you obviously have a very not only highly educated background, but also a diverse background, with your military service as well as
I served in Germany. I commanded artillery unit in Germany. I had 200 troops and 18 Hiroshima-sized nukes. I've actually assembled an atomic bomb with my hands.
Oh wow.
I was very young too. I was 23 years old when I was a commander. So I had a lot of responsibility when I was very young. And I stayed in the Army for about 7.5 years active duty, and the rest was in the reserves. Retired out of the reserves, and I was in charge of officer advanced training while I was stationed in the States. Developed a lot of training techniques. I actually got a medal for developing a training technique that saved a lot of money. And so I really got into how to develop ways to train people to do difficult tasks. And ironically, although I got my master's degree in business, I had 2 civilian corporate jobs. And both those jobs I was hired in the Army, not because I had an MBA. I was brought in. My first job out was at the Federal Reserve Bank, where I was brought in as a training specialist. That lasted about a year. I moved up to operate to management systems, and then moved to operations analysis, ended up developing the strategic planning for the Federal Reserve. And then went from there to Texas Petroleum, developed their international management program, cross-cultural learning, things like that. And then I kind of, at some life, you got to pursue your real passion.
Yeah.
And you're not going to believe what my real passion was.
All right, let's hear it.
I believed I could coach high school football.
Oh, wow.
So I took an 82% pay cut, went to a private high school, and coached. It's my ring, the 1994 3A state championship.
Oh, that's
First
awesome.
year's coach.
That's awesome.
And so, that's really what my passion was. And anyway, through that process, I taught at a little private school. And then when I left that private school, I was going to go coach again, and things didn't happen for me to coach again. And the parents at the private school wanted me to work specifically with their kids. So I started my own school. I rented a Sunday school room at the First Baptist Church in Duncanville, Texas, and started school with 7 kids. And the next year we had 3 schools. The next year after that, we had 11 schools. And eventually I had 22 schools across the country, 22 college prep academies, from Springfield, Massachusetts, to Hot Springs, Arkansas, to Palm Springs, California. About 600 students. These were boutique schools, smaller schools. Yeah. We were completely on the internet long before everybody else adopted it. We ran satellite schools off the internet. We didn't have quote unquote instructors or teachers. We had mentors and coaches. We used some advanced programmed learning, and then we started accelerating. We had kids who graduated early, went to college early. I had 19-year-olds go to med school, and an 18-year-old for the California bar pass it.
Oh, that's
we took
cool.
A lot of ambitious kids, but then we also worked on the other side. We had kids who had issues. We had kids who had learning disabilities, Tourette's, ADD, ADHD, and the program that we had worked for those kids, and those kids were able to get into college, get scholarships to college, and then, but about 12 years ago, it got to be too big. I mean, I spent 182 days on the road in 2010, and I said I got to figure out a way to downsize.
Yeah,
so over 3 years, we downsized. A lot of those schools split off on their own. And so we began to focus primarily on college prep. That way, you didn't come to my school to get it. You could go to whatever school you wanted to. We began to market it with high school, public school, private school kids, homeschool kids. And that's where we've been so far. We've been working with kids directly to get them to prepare, package, and position them for college success. And prepare, package. That's good. Our alliteration. We have so what we're doing is, depending on what your ambitions are, we can provide a strategy for you to meet those ambitions. If you're looking to go to Ivy Leagues, if you're looking to go to a service academy, you want to go to a high profile school, are you looking for scholarships? And we're batting about 96% full scholarships since 2011. We've done over 300 million in college funding. When I say college, I mean stuff you don't have to pay back. These are not loans. And we've had kids. It's relatively common that we'll have 4 or 5 kids every year that'll get over $1 million in scholarship offers. The top one we had was 3 years ago at 1.72 million in scholarship, 16 full scholarships.
Wow, that's like a full lifetime earning for a lot of people. That's incredible. Yeah.
So but they don't get to keep all that money. That's just what they're offering. Yeah. And they'll take one of the offers. Right. But it looks really good on your resume if you say I got over $1 million in scholarship offers, compared to the guy you're competing against who says I got $250,000 in loans. So he's gonna job hop until he's going to pay off those loans. So
it's a resume builder.
Yeah, big resume builder.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Dr. Beasley, I think first off, really enjoyed the first time we got on the phone and had a conversation. But I think, the true test of whether somebody is capable or an expert in their field is, can they do it in multiple different disciplines? And, that's what I love. You've shown how you can use these techniques across, different classes of people, different ages of people in different industries, from the military. And now we're talking about college. We could go down any one of those paths, but I want to back up a little bit because, when we went to college, the equation was a little different. I went to school, so I started at Virginia Tech in 1996. I wish I knew you back then. I'm sure my mom, but I had a small pot of money from when my father passed away. Actually, my mother had set aside. So I had a small pot of money. My mom said, "Hey, this is what you got." And I grew up in Maryland, and what we found was there was a reciprocity program. So I got to do a biomechanical engineering program at Virginia Tech and got in-state tuition, I got some academic scholarships, and then I worked for the school. So I was able to get out of school with an MBA as well as my undergrad for less than $25,000, all room, board, and everything. What's the average cost for 1 year in a public institution today?
30 to 40,000.
30 to 40,000. So you're looking at well over 100,000, potentially even $200,000 for a college education today. I guess my first question is, does it even make sense for most kids to go to college these days?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. Okay.
Good answer.
Stephen Jobs didn't need college education. And I do have people who bring that up. Well, he didn't go to college. Okay. Do you have an Apple computer in your garage?
Right.
I said, well, don't talk to me about that until you got the computer built in the garage. Okay. You're going to have those, your Bill Gates, you're going to have those exceptional people who are going to be able to do that. But then Elon Musk has a master's degree in engineering. Okay. So you can't really,
smart and educated.
And then you have, the guy from Dirty Jobs. Okay. Mike Rowe, his degree is in philosophy. So, it really, I mean, my bachelor, I'll tell you, my bachelor's degree is in criminal justice. I've never busted anybody. I've never written a parking ticket. I'm moving right now, but normally it's on the wall behind me. Okay. I had my master's in business because I needed to be viable in the civilian sector.
Yeah.
And my first doctorate's in Greek and Hebrew. Nobody's asked me to be their rabbi. My second one's in urban and public administration. Nobody's asked me to be their mayor. So educationally, I'm an abject failure. My success is I managed to get all those degrees, go to college for 22 years and pay for one semester.
There you go. I love that. I love that. So I guess, and my point in asking that is that, I think, this is one of the things I talk about in our, we have a tool for parents to help financially educate their kids. The last is to teach your kids the true value and cost of college. And I think just being able to understand, hey, what's the ROI of a specific degree with the options that are out there? And there's two pieces to that equation, right? There's, what are the earnings? And, can you actually determine, do you have the financial nous to determine, what a return on investment is? And then if you can drive that investment down, from your out-of-pocket costs, then you change that equation drastically when you look at different things. So one of the things I know Virginia Tech does is they help kids, determine that ROI and figure out, hey, does it make sense? And I think I had a conversation with a good friend 2 weeks ago. It was actually the day following our first conversation, and his boys were there at the meeting he brought them to, and we were talking about his kids. He goes, actually, my younger son, he's going to trade school. He's going to learn to go work in the HVAC field. And I said, well, geez, my friend just bought an HVAC business and he's killing it. And he said, yeah, he goes, he's going to come out doing very well. Do you help children? Do you help kids, parents go through that process of looking at all the options that are out there?
About 20% of my clientele base doesn't go to college. Okay. And my nuclear family, girl, boy, girl. Both girls got full scholarships to college. Both boys went in the Army.
How about that?
Okay. Yeah. And so, I'm working with a kid right now that trying to figure out whether he wants to go officer path in the Coast Guard or enlist in the Coast Guard and then work on his officer stuff there. And we've got, let's take the numbers. Your 30-year-old plumber who's been in business 8 to 10 years makes more than a family practice doctor does.
Impressive.
Your forklift operator is going to make even more. Okay.
Really?
I've done.
What's an average forklift operator make?
Well, Las Vegas, 124,000.
How about that? Wow. Yeah. Who knew? Forklift making six figures? I had no clue.
Yeah, and I follow the stuff that Mike Rowe does because he offers a scholarship. In fact, I think one of my grandnephews got one of his scholarships to go to trade school.
That's cool.
And the trades are there. Not everybody needs a college degree. Now, some people will get a college degree because they want one. Or their job might require it. Now, we work with a lot of adults who go to school. In fact, I just got an application in the day before yesterday, a person wanting to go back to school and get their diploma. We do work with a lot of that. I do a lot of grad school. I do med school, law school, get them into grad school. So it all depends on what your ambitions are. If you're an engineer, you probably need to go to college. If you're going to be a teacher, you need to go to college. But sometimes, college isn't the best thing for you. There's other things you can do. I, tend to tell a lot of people that you may want to do a stint in the military. I mean, I had a kid, this is about 2 years ago, I wanted to go into aircraft mechanics, and he was talking about how he was going to be able to pay for at a community college. And I said, okay, you're going to have to find a job that's going to pay to cover your head and everything and your rent. And he was married at that time. And then you're going to have to pay for school. I said, why don't you go into the Air Force? They're going to teach you, because they'll teach you aircraft mechanics, and they're going to pay you and give you a place to live and take care of your wife.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. And plus, you're going to have 4 years of college that you're going to use when you get out, or give that to your kids.
Yeah.
GI Bill's transferable.
I love that. And I think that's a terrific point that you make, Dr. Beasley, is that, coming into college with just a very narrow view, which is, hey, this is what higher education is about. It could take many different things. It could be an apprenticeship, like we were just talking about with my friend's son. It could be college where you get an advanced degree. It could be the military. It could be a combination where I'm sure you must have kids go to like junior college or community, like we called it community college when I grew up, but junior college is a.
Well, there's actually a difference between the two.
Well, please enlighten me, because I don't want to.
They both under the umbrella of 2-year colleges. Okay.
Gotcha.
Your community colleges will have transfer stuff to go to a 4-year college, plus they have a lot of vocational stuff. Okay.
Gotcha.
Whereas your junior college is specifically set up to people to transfer to a senior college.
Gotcha. And I imagine that can seriously decrease the cost.
Oh yeah,
of a 4-year degree.
Yeah, we call it a 2+2 strategy.
I like that.
Yeah, where you go to. My wife did 2+2, and she transferred to Harvard.
And now let me get this straight. If I recall correctly, your wife got a full ride to Harvard. Is that right? Full
scholarship.
Love it. So there you go.
I paid $596 for her first semester at college. At Harvard.
And that's a 3-digit number, folks. That's 596. Today's show is sponsored by Money Insights and their investment optimizer strategy. In my book, I share how I use this same strategy starting over a decade ago to invest my money in 2 places at one time. This strategy has been used by the wealthiest for generations for estate planning, minimizing taxes, preserving wealth, and increasing stability for their investments. Now you can do the same thing. In addition, you can build a plan to build an emergency fund, pay for college, fund a business, plan for retirement, and ultimately optimize your total financial picture. To find out more information, check us out at the banking link at nextlevelincome.com.
Yeah. There's ways of doing this. And at that time, because I had 3 people in college at the same time, my college bill was $72,000 a year. So the FAFSA said I should pay for 36 of that, and then the other 36 was need-based. So we got grants and stuff for that. Plus, Harvard is very generous with financial aid. I mean, right now,
a nice endowment,
if you go into to Harvard and your adjusted gross income is below $80,000, they'll pay for everything, and that scales up to 150, where they'll cover tuition up to 50. Then it's scaled from there on up. Very few people pay full rate at Harvard.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we talked about, like, is college worth it? There's a lot of different options that are out there that should be considered. The potential ROI. Please walk us through, kind of in a nutshell, what your process looks like at Beasley College Prep.
Well, we start them out in an initial interview. We want to find out what the ambitions are. We need to find out, what their finances are, what certain things they can qualify for. We want to get the metrics of the student, GPA, test scores, class rank, things like that. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that 80 to 85% of the colleges in the country will admit you and scholarship you on your metrics alone. I mean, University of Alabama, you 3.5 GPA and a 32 ACT, you're going to get $112,000 automatic. You just send your stuff in the application. There's several colleges like that. Okay. And so what we do is when we start the ball rolling, those are low hanging fruit. We get them, the kids who apply those, get some scholarships in their back pocket. They got $500,000 of scholarships in their back pocket, and they're in a good negotiating position. But we will look at their metrics, and then based on that, if they're pretty much qualified, then we tell them, this is the range of colleges that you're qualified. Now, here's another range of colleges that if you do this more, you're going to be able to take a shot at these. And then if you got the highest one, now a lot of people will come in and, they have ambitions, and, They'll say, well, I want, where the student came in, says, I want to go to an Ivy League. I go, okay, name them. Which one? She couldn't name them. Oh, Harvard, Yale, couldn't name them. And I said, well, we've got to focus in on the colleges that you want. And then I have to spend the first 2 or 3 sessions deprogramming parents and deprogramming students. Now, she ended up going to Georgetown, okay, which is a good college.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She ended up going to Georgetown because in her mind, she thought there's Ivy League and then there's podunk, okay? Ivy League, well, can I pull this on you, Chris?
Yeah, go for it.
Can you name the Ivy League colleges? These
All
are
of
correct
them?
answers. These are incorrect.
Oh boy.
Okay,
let's see
go.
Here. Yeah,
I don't want to embarrass you in front of your audience.
Oh no, that's okay. I like to be challenged. So and I'm probably not going to get them right. So we got Harvard, we got Princeton. Is Cornell Ivy League? Oh, okay. Princeton, Brown. Let's see here. Run a little late in the day. Give me 1 more second. Let's see here. It's another one in New Jersey. I'm trying to think of. We just went up that way too. So all right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop there. Penn State's not in there, is it? Yeah. Okay. There we go. I figured I'd guess one more.
Close,
all right. I'll stop there.
Okay. We're gonna do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's your acronym: BCCD.
BCCD.
Then happy. Take out the A.
All right.
Okay. Brown, Cornell, Columbia, Dartmouth, Harvard, Princeton, Penn, Yale.
Wait. So Penn is.
No, not
Harvard,
you said
Princeton,
Penn State.
Penn. Oh, it's Penn, University of Pennsylvania. Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But then I'm going to ask you, what is the Ivy League?
Yeah, I can't give you a good definition of that. I looked it up when we were up there. I was talking to my son. But yeah, what's the history behind that?
It's an athletic association. A lot of people think it's an exclusive club of good colleges.
Yeah.
Well, they've got good colleges there.
Sure, yeah.
But it's an athletic association. Okay. When you look at these, top 10, top 20 lists of colleges in the country, you may see 2 or 3 or 4 Ivy Leagues in there, but you're going to see a Chicago, a Stanford, a Berkeley, an MIT, a Duke. Yeah. Okay, those are all good schools that are comparable to the Ivy Leagues. Having a wife that went to one, I mean, I can understand it, but it's not necessarily a guarantee for success. I mean, I subscribe to more than 12 research sources, and I pull in a lot of data and use this data to help people make decisions. I mean, for example, what do you think is the highest paying exit industry college?
Highest paying exit industry. I would guess today maybe like software engineering.
Yeah, never guess it. The maritime industry.
Really?
If you look at the top 20 earning colleges after 10 years, you're going to have 3 Ivy Leagues and 4 maritime colleges. SUNY Maritime, Massachusetts Maritime, the Merchant Academy, which is a service academy that doesn't require military service. I just had a student graduate from there, and he started out between $160,000 and $200,000 walking out of college. That is the highest paying exit industry.
What was his job title?
He's going in as a third officer.
Third officer. Okay, yeah. So he's coming out of the maritime industry.
He can go into the military if he wants to, but he's gonna serve in the Merchant Marine. Yeah. And then the academy is just like West Point. It's free. Yeah. And you get paid while you're there. It's free education. It's like their superintendent says, your education is a gift of the American people. And so again, people don't work with good data. They don't have access to good data. The advising that they're getting is not top, because most of your high school counselors right now, they don't have the training. They're not trained in this kind of stuff. Yeah. Most of them didn't get scholarship college, and most of them are still paying off their student loans. Yeah. Okay. So all they know is what they know. And it's not their job to get you into college. It's their job to get you out the door in May. Okay? Really.
I like that. Yeah.
And you have to understand the limitations.
You make such a great point. We often talk about, I spent nearly 2 decades in the healthcare space and medical device industry. And the healthcare industry is really sick care. So it's like, it's broken in a lot of ways, but we have phenomenal surgeons. We have phenomenal, the ability to care for patients. The incentives aren't always aligned properly to patient incentives, those sorts of things. Same thing in the financial world. And it's no surprise to me, and I'm sure most of our listeners, that it's the same thing in the educational world. When you look at that. So it's I love, data drives, the wrong assumptions mean the wrong answers, right? So if you got the right data and the right assumptions, then you can make better choices.
Yeah, it's like I say, I have to spend some time programming people. You know, these people come in that they think the world's flat, and they got maps that say the world's flat and satellite photographs.
I have a friend who thinks the world's flat, so I have to put you guys together.
Yeah, well, but the thing that protect probably with your audience is you want to be able to reduce your out-of-pocket costs. And I work with a lot of high profile. I mean, I've worked with a Heisman Trophy winner. I've worked with NFL and NBA players. I've got some really high ticket people that come to me. Just because they have a lot of money doesn't mean they want to give it to a college. I mean, one of the things I tell people, I says, if we get your kid funded for college and you don't have to take it out of your pocket, and I tell the kid, this means you're getting the iMac and the iPad and the summer in Norway. And your parents are going to be much more you're giving that money to you than giving it to the college. So you want to reduce that. You want to find a way that maybe the kid can earn their way through college, and that's going to mean much, much more when it comes time for them to go out on their own. I mean, employers like students who work their way through college or earn their way through grades, through scholarships. That's important because it means that this person is ambitious.
Absolutely. It's important, and it also illustrates just like your degrees, your military service, your experience, whether it's some people with athletics. I used to love to hire military and former professional or high level athletes because that they have experience outside of what they get in the classroom. There's a lot of things that illustrate that. So Dr. Beasley, maybe you could share a couple tips for parents that are going through this process, and then I want you to talk about how they can get in touch with your company. Okay.
Number one, start early.
What's early? Like my older son is 13. Is that too early, or is that about right?
No. You need to start when you picked out your spouse.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I think I did an okay job. If she was here, I'd introduce you.
Okay. So. Now, what we do is we want to start generally about the 6th grade. Okay. Now we don't give them college courses in 6th grade, but you start building the portfolio, the resume, the educational experiences. We want to get to high profile enhancement experiences such as the Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth, getting in, start their volunteer stuff, get them primed to look at national level awards, work on their grades. Now we have a lot of students. We have a build up program that we work with kids to get their vocabulary up, their math up, things like that. And as they begin to move through junior high, you want them to see if they can start taking higher courses. And starting the freshman year, we really do hardcore building resume. President's Volunteer Service Award, the Congressional Award, the President's Physical Fitness. We want to get them national level recognition because it's going to stand out. And sophomore year, we start the testing process. We have them taking PSAT 10 and the PSAT. I mean, I had a student who, as a sophomore, took the PSAT 10. Now, in the PSAT, it's also the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test, an NMSQT. Okay. A lot of people don't take a lot of emphasis on that. But if you get a National Merit Scholarship, these colleges will descend on you and offer everything. Tuition fees, room and boards, dancing girls, everything. Okay.
Wow.
Because they want you. Because the University of Oklahoma used to sale National Merit Scholars so that the president could say the highest percentage of National Merit Scholars choose the University of Oklahoma. Well, because they buy them. Okay.
Hey.
I got a kid there right now who's on a National Merit Scholarship. They bought him. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but what you're wanting to do is they also have this thing called national recognition, which is for African Americans, Hispanics, Indigenous, even people who live in small towns. Okay. I have a girl who got National Hispanic last year on her thing as a sophomore, and this year, as a junior, she got National Small Town. Now, we start rattling off the 22 colleges that are going to be a huge scholarship. Alabama, number one, gives you a full ride, plus they'll pick up room and board. Mississippi, University of Mississippi, Kentucky. Okay, you start because these colleges want to take these recognized students. It adds to their profile, okay, and adds to their diversity quotient. But nobody emphasizes, nobody trains their people to beat this test so they can get that recognition. Well, we do, okay. We're done. I've got a whole program that we're doing, and plus the PSA this year is turning digital. So we've had to go through this entire process to get our kids ready for competition. Because I tell them, I said, you're going into competition. Now, what is your competition? Are they doing what you're doing, or are they doing what you should be doing?
Right.
And you've got to get them in the competition. So we get this up, and then we do a lot of them, because the only variable you're going to have after sophomore year that really change things is going to be the test score. Now, all this stuff about test optional, all that does is has made the high profile schools a lot of money, because a lot more people are applying and they're paying the application fee. I mean, one college, I think their revenue jumped $7 million just from application fees.
Wow.
Okay.
How about that?
And as well, you got people applying on a wing and a prayer. They would not normally get in, but they think, well, it's test optional. I don't need to send my test scores in, send it in. And so, your Princetons, your Harvards, double the applicants. So their acceptance percentage goes down. Makes them look just a mathematical trick. Yeah. And so you have to be aware that that test scores are important. I mean, the college has the common data set. This is where the data from all the colleges go in, and I'm with a company that provides me information on that. And if you take the test and your test score is within the middle band of 50% or higher, you have a half again better chance of being admitted than somebody without test scores. So when people say it's not important, no, you got a 50% better chance getting admitted. But again, they want, I don't have to do the work. Well, what's that reflect? It's your lack of work ethic, not wanting to try. Then colleges don't want you. If you're showing that you have that you're ambitious, that you're willing to take the test. They also have a thing called the grit score, GRIT.
Oh, really? Okay? Wow, we talk about grit all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a grit score. Okay. Now, this is not as important now than it was during COVID. Okay. Now, you'll have people who, back during COVID, who made application, didn't send in their scores. Well, each has what's called a CEB code, college education, CEB code, 6-digit code. Right? Now, you have somebody that sends this thing in. Now, what they'll do is they'll run the code. So this is from your school, and it'll tell you how many juniors and seniors took the test. Well, if a lot of juniors and seniors took the test, and it means you got low grit. Okay. People took the test. Now, if there was a low number and they went, well, it was probably difficult for them to take the test, so we'll understand the grit score. But a lot of people took the test, you didn't send it in, so either A, you blew it off, or B, you got a low test score. So you have a grit index there that people don't realize colleges used.
Yeah, they're no dummies. They know all this stuff.
And so there's just getting the inside pipe on this gives people a great advantage, because you understand how to play the game. And if you understand how to play the game, you play the game better.
Yeah. Yeah. So you start early, the right tests, the right schools to go into. Right. What else should people be aware of?
Well, that they need to take the test, SAT and ACT. Yeah. And what's going to get you into college, your grades, okay, your recognition, leadership, and then your experiences, employment, things like that, your activities, and then your test scores. Now, and there's 5 areas that you get money for college. Now, we actually use the acronym MONEY, MONEY.
Now I know people's ears perked up. All right, merit.
All right, merit. Yep. Okay. A lot of people think you only minorities and poor people get scholarships. No, merit is pure merit. Okay, athletic, academic, activity, artistic. We have a girl who just graduated from UCLA, and she was on a theater costuming scholarship, full scholarship, UCLA.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So there are scholarships that are artistic, all kinds of, that's merit. That means you rate something and the college is willing to give you money to come to their college. That's merit money. It doesn't have to be paid back. Okay. Next, you have opportunity money. This means you're working for an employer who's going to give you money. You're getting an ROTC scholarship. By the way, I consider the best scholarship to get because it's portable. All right. And colleges will aggressively pursue you because Uncle Sam pays retail. There's colleges throw in room and board and all kinds of stuff just because you're bringing an ROTC scholarship to them. Okay. But things like ROTC, work study, there's just, what are the, private scholarships? What are the opportunities that you're going to have to do something to get them? Okay. N is need-based. Okay. Need-based does not mean needy. Need-based means there's a difference between what the FAFSA says you should pay and what it actually costs. And that's the need. There's different ways of filling that need. You can get grants and there's all kinds of different ways. So, when I had 3 people in college, we got $36,000 in need-based aid. and they said I should pay $36,000 also. I assure you, I didn't pay that $36,000. Okay. Anyway, so that's need-based. Then you have what's called entitlement money. I mean, you took advantage of entitlement money. Reciprocity is a form of entitlement money. In-state tuition is entitlement. But also certain states that if you're deaf or blind or disabled or a foster kid or something, you get tuition waived. GI Bill is an entitlement. You have other types of certain grants that you get because you live in a certain state. These are entitlements. And finally is why your own money. Everybody will accept your cash, check, or money order. Okay. Yeah. But you want to reduce that. And there are ways. I work with parents who say, we just want to pay for it. Our kid is not the greatest scholar, but he's a good enough student. We'll pay for it. So we find the least expensive route. So I have a list of what's called the secret hidden colleges. And there are colleges that are number one, there are colleges that are free, and there are colleges that are incredibly low cost, and they are good college. Well, give me an example. Institute. It's located on Long Island. Webb, W-E-B-B.
Webb Institute.
Webb Institute. Yeah. Arguably the most exclusive college in the country.
Wow.
They only take 28 students a year. And if you get in, it's free.
How about that?
Yeah. You double major, naval architecture and marine engineering. That's it. And they go into the most lucrative industry from Maritime. There. Yeah. And well, it's like coming from Webb is like coming from West Point in the Army. Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody in the industry knows Webb Institute. Yeah. And I have 2 students there. That's hard to get into. They got in. There's, for example, Hard Work U is a college of the Ozarks. If you go there, it's free. They work you. You work for the college. Barclay College, which is a religious college, it's free. You get in there. You have low-cost colleges, Delta State in Mississippi. No out-of-state tuition. You could go there for about $15,000 a year. Same Minot State. You've got these regional colleges that want to attract people. Yeah. They drop the out-of-state stuff and they bring these people in, and they become low cost.
Yeah, Dr. Beasley, this is you've piqued my interest. I know a lot of people out there. I'd love to continue this discussion, and we'll probably have you back on to do exactly that. You've also kind of encouraged me because I'm like, oh geez, I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball now. I thought I was getting ahead of it. I'm gonna reach out to you. How can other people get in touch with your company and learn about these tips and figure out how they can take advantage and, like we said, affect both ends of that equation so that they can get the best ROI and the best opportunities, not only for them, but also for their children going forward?
Yeah, well, they can check me at my website, Beasley College Prep, BeasleyCollegePrep.com. Depending on the number of people who contact us, we'll give a free initial consult to them. If I get a flurry of 100 people, then we'll do a webinar.
Very good.
But we'll give them a free consult and get them started, get them pointed in the right direction, and see what we can do to help them out.
Awesome. Dr. Beasley, this has been fun. This has been great. We're going to put that link in the show notes. That's www.beasleycollegeprep.com. If you're listening to the podcast, you can also find it in the show notes. Dr. Beasley, thanks again for your time. Good luck with your move, and look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, Chris here again. I hope you found this episode valuable. Now, I have one more thing to gift you. We have a page for my coaching clients where you can get a free copy of my book, as well as much more from previous guests on the show. Just check out nextlevelincome.com/coaching to get a free copy of my book, audiobook, and much more. I'll send you a copy of my book and cover all the shipping costs as a thank you for listening to the podcast. Also, please like, share, and take just 90 seconds to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts.